is Caitlin, and today I'll be showing you how to sew a button. This video will go over threading the needle, making a knot in your thread, sewing the actual button on, and then tying it off. Okay, so to thread your needle, something that I have learned is that it will be much harder to put it through the eye if it's a long piece. So make sure to pull it through your fingers until there's just a little bit left, and then try to put it through the eye when it's straighter. I'm using a much bigger needle today just so that you can see the eye clearly, but usually you want to use a smaller needle so that you don't make such a big hole in your fabric when you sew through it. Another thing that I find useful is to try to put the eye into the thread instead of putting the thread through the eye, but it's whatever way works for you with practice. So once it is through your needle, you want to line up the ends of your thread and hold the tail end of the thread while wrapping it around your finger once. Once the two sides are close or crossing, you want to rub your pointer finger with your thumb to make a lot of twists in the thread. And once there's a lot of twists, you put your middle finger at the top and pull the thread up so that you can get all the twists to the bottom. And this will make a nice big knot, which is helpful especially if your thread tends to go through the fabric that you're working with. And here it is again. And now for sewing on your button. I will be using a very, very big button with red thread so that you can see it, but you definitely want to try to use a button thread that is as close as possible to the color of your fabric, because the ones I am using definitely do not match the jacket. If you are sewing a button between two others, try to gauge the middle between them. Normally you want to make sure that the place you are sewing also lines up with the buttonhole, so keep that in mind. To start, I go from the back and place one hole in the button onto the thread. And then I go through the whole diagonal from the first one. For the third hole, you have to go through the back, and you might have to poke around a bit before you find the right spot. Repeat this as many times as it takes to make sure that the button is reinforced, but don't make it too tight because you just want a little bit of wiggle room so that you can put your button through the buttonhole. you think that it's reinforced, the final part is to tie it off. How I do this is by going through a small portion with the needle and stopping halfway. And then with the loop that you made, you put it around the needle 3 or 4 times. And pull the needle all the way through to make a knot at the bottom. Then you can go through the fabric again to keep it secure.